So we're here at Konza Technopolis, Kenya's technology city, where we're seeing innovation and all sorts of interesting things happening as part of Kenya's 2030 digital transformation agenda. More importantly, we're going to have a conversation with Lucas Omollo, who's in charge of ICT services and the smart city solution aspects of this particular location. And we're going to talk about what they're doing on the ground and what we're accomplishing through this amazing infrastructure and development initiative for Kenya. But also more importantly, we know that Konza Technopolis is going to be hosting the 41st edition of the IASP conference. So let's go in and see exactly what Konza Technopolis has to offer. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to yet another edition of the Pure Digital Passion podcast with me, Moses Kimibaro. Today we are at Konza Technopolis, the technology city that has been established in Kenya, and more importantly, part of Kenya's major 2030 agenda in terms of digitally transforming the country. And my guest today is none other than Lucas John Omollo, Chief Manager, ICT and Smart City Solutions here at Konza Technopolis. And he's going to take us through what they've accomplished, what they've been doing to date, and more importantly, also the conference that Konza will be hosting in a few weeks' time here in Nairobi for the IASP 41st edition. Thank you so much for joining us, Lucas.
Thank you, Moses.
So, Lucas, I want to start off maybe from the top, a little bit about yourself. Tell us who you are, tell us about your personal journey, how you transitioned from software engineering and also becoming a leader in ICT and these smart city solutions.
Thank you, Moses. As you indicated, my name is Lucas Omollo. I head ICT here and Smart City Solutions at Konza Technopolis. Of course, my journey began 10, 12 years ago as a junior software engineer. I've always been passionate about ICT and how I apply ICT to transform lives, because I am a stout believer that ICT should provide value to humanity, value to businesses, and value to government. And one of our key slogans here at Konza Technopolis is technology in the service of humanity. So when I joined, I started my profession, then I joined a department in charge of business process outsourcing, then a project that I was working on with the Ministry of ICT, as well as World Bank and IFC. So that is where I embarked on software development, basically to put Konza perspective and Konza story out there. We were able also to bring on board some of the key stakeholders then, because universities play a key role in terms of transforming cities like Konza, because smart cities rely heavily on technology to offer services. So building systems that then will empower Konza and place Konza to be able to carry out the functions of a smart city. I grew, of course, up the ranks to managerial position, where I've been able to lead teams in defining key strategies on how ICT has been able to transform this place, Konza Technopolis, and of course, quite a number of transformational projects that I've been able to oversee, from conceptualizing and implementation of Konza National Data Center and Smart City Facility Project, and you'll see that spread across today, Konza Technopolis. There are quite a number of other projects that we've been able to do with the support of government and private sector, some touching on digital skills, some touching on technology platforms and enterprise applications that we roll out in government that basically help businesses grow. But I've also been at the forefront in ensuring that the technology platform at Konza is at the epicenter in terms of creating digital opportunities for the innovation communities. I've been able to lead a team that has brought together some of the players within the innovation space. We work with innovation hubs spread across the country through country-wide innovation hubs, because through those hubs we get now linkages, and Konza stories felt out there. And we're able now to tap those innovations, we're able to nurture those innovations, and through the Konza platform we're able to pilot them here, but then even expand them through patenting and commercialization. So that way we've seen so many people get jobs, so many people create startups, and of course we know typically as a startup is initiated, you'll have 3-4 people employed.
Yeah.
So that has been a good story and demonstration of what we've been able to do with the platform that we've set up here at Konza Technopolis.
And I think it's brilliant that you're talking about startups, because obviously you had a background in software development.
Correct.
No, I also came from a technology background myself.
Correct.
Having done IT and business. And I'm wondering, of course, you've had 12 years of experience. You've had 4 years in senior leadership.
Yes.
You worked in cybersecurity. You worked in cloud. You worked in transformation projects.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering, as you look at all that, how has this sort of fed into what you've achieved at Konza right now in your current role?
Correct. So my experience as passion has been in continuous learning and basically applying technology to address the challenges that organizations face, but as well as what businesses look for, because as I mentioned, ICT need to provide value. So as we're coming up, as I was looking at my journey and the future that probably this Technopolis then will need to have, it was evident for us then to define some of the initial ICT guidelines and standards, because then they set the pace. You have to set the foundation
at a foundational level,
the foundation level standards that are needed for Konza to build a very robust ICT infrastructure. So once those standards and guidelines were established, and at that point, it was also important for me to learn from the best, because our experience, Konza is the first smart city project in the country. So it was important for us to create linkages with other cities out there, like Barcelona, like Songdo in Korea, like Dubai Design District in United Emirates.
And also look at the best
practices. So these best practices constituted those ICT guidelines and standards. Once that was done, then we asked ourselves, so what next? So what next was the primary infrastructure for technology city like Konza. We came up with then the demand for a data center and smart city facilities. And why a data center? Because smart cities are intelligent cities, and they tap into data, they collect a lot of data and analyze this data, present this to different stakeholders, citizens, the municipal, for purposes of decision making and for purposes of improving the quality of lives of citizens that are living in those cities. So this informed our decision then to start the project that I initiated, Konza National Data Center and Smart City Facility Project, that has been transformational. This project not only was positioned then to help Konza realize the functions of a smart city, but then at that point, 2018, 2017, when we were doing the conceptualization, it was positioned also to help transform government digital agenda in itself, because then the government was at the phase where a lot of services then were being driven online. And of course, as you do that, you require very reliable and secure compute facility. So Konza was that facility that was able then now to help different MDAs. And you've seen now, over the last 3 years, we've had very minimal cases of government systems going down and secure. So that has been as a result.
So continuity
has been taken. So the data center today that we created has supported businesses, has supported government, but also it is the platform that supports smart cities. But Moses, one other interesting thing is that we use this facility to nurture innovation. So we've created frameworks and models that enables us work with innovators to build end applications, host them in that facility, and we work on a commercialization model, how we take this out there. So what we are doing with this facility is to ensure that the data center will be able now to help us create jobs, create applications that we want not only to export locally, but also internationally. So we are positioning this to enable Kenya now be an exporter of technology. We know we've been importing a lot of technology products from other countries, China, India, US. So we are building our own capacity so that we're able now to not only serve our local demand in terms of digital transformation, but also be able now to export this globally. Internally, we've been able to also, through that project, map out from the guidelines various smart city facilities that were needed, because what are these things? So you'll find that there are certain challenges that you'll find in traditional cities, like traffic, waste management, pollution. So we didn't want those in Konza. And then we ask ourselves, how then will technology help us alleviate those challenges? So some of the facilities that we constituted and implemented were intelligent traffic systems that have been, we've done 12 junctions today in our phase 1 of Konza. So actually, we'll have minimal human interaction on our roads, but we'll have intelligent roads that guides motorists, that help us minimize accidents, but also enable motorists have the real-time data on where they're going, on the parking and all those, because we know today that even in cities, 30% of traffic situations is basically caused by motorists just going around trying to locate parking slots. So for us, we've been able to implement digital signages and intelligent traffic systems that then will enable motorists get to know where they can easily park, that is probably convenient. But also sustainability was key in terms of the ICT that we are implementing.
Correct.
So we've been able to integrate solar, for example, and power, but also implemented sensors for pollution, for CO2. So Konza is an intelligent city that will probably tell you the levels of CO2 at any given point in time and how then we need to manage such. So technology has been integrated to help humanity. So this is a people-centered smart city. And I'm even glad that last year I was nominated to represent the country in a team of 31 global experts that is working for UN Habitat to develop guidelines for people-centered smart cities. So this shows, and we want to use Konza as a country as a pilot that global destinations, global venture capitalists then can take advantage of as they are looking for sustainable and open and very customer-centric smart cities that they will want to grow their businesses in.
One thing I'm very excited about, and this is something that we saw even this week during the ITW Africa conference, which I also attended.
Correct.
Was this whole story around, obviously there's a mushrooming of data centers in the country.
Correct.
But now, for the very first time, we have world-class data infrastructure, networking infrastructure.
Yes.
We have abundant bandwidth.
Correct.
Meaning that, especially also with the green aspect of our electricity, we are one of the few countries in the world that can really say that we have a very sustainable environment for technology. Isn't that so?
That is so, Moses. And again, why data centers? You'll find that Kenya, and we are looking at even the priorities of the current administration through the digital superhighway.
Yes.
The country has to develop a reliable compute infrastructure. So Konza, which is a tier 3 and has been certified by Uptime, by both design and construction. So it means globally we are at the same level with the likes of Amazon Cloud as far as data centers are concerned. But did you also know, Moses, that this data center is the only one in Africa with platinum LEED certification as far as sustainable development are concerned. So it means we've embedded sustainable principles, green principles, on how we optimize energy use and efficiency. And you're right that 93% today of our energy is green. So Konza has gone ahead, in addition to what we have in Konza Technopolis, to establish other data centers. Like we have another one 200 kilometers from here that is offering disaster recovery services. And in the event of disaster, then we can assure business continuity for those who we are hosting and serving through this facility. But we've also brought on board strategic investors like Microsoft and many players. And we are working with them to establish another tier 4 data center that will be in Olkaria, Naivasha. These will purely get energy from one of the wells, and that will be green, 100%. And you see why we are doing this as a country is to establish a data hub. We want to position Kenya as a data hub for this region, in the sense that the government will have enough capacity to host, to run applications, to offer digital services to citizens, but also to support the innovation community, because we don't want to invest in technology because it is good to invest in technology. But the government, for me, what I'm pushing is to see how the technology we invest in provide value. So we're able to position it to enable citizens access digital services, access digital skills, innovate on it, and also build solutions. But also, we want to see how, because Konza, Kenya has been a lead in technology adoption in terms of mobile, broadband, as you said, internet penetration,
all those things.
Statistics from CA. So it means that we as a country can position the data centers and the private sector ecosystem in that space to offer data center services to other countries, our neighbors, Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania, and many others. So that is what we are trying to do, so that we also look at global. If you're looking at the last year's Africa Climate Summit,
Yes.
some of the discussions that we had were, how then can we optimize our investments? So how can Konza Data Center support the government of Uganda so that we don't have to build another one in Uganda? And of course, if you look at the utilization, probably you'll be using 30% of the one in Uganda, you're using 60%. So how can we even share these cloud platforms? Because with technology, there's no limit, there's no maximum distance. So anywhere where you're hosting, we can be able now to optimize our resources for better reliability.
So another thing I wanted to ask about is a lot of people, when you mention Konza,
Yes.
there's this tendency to wonder whether anything is actually happening here.
Happening.
And I know, of course, it's a key agenda item with our sort of 2030 agenda as a country.
Yes.
What can we say about that? Because we're here, there's an office, there's infrastructure, there's incredible roads, there's this incredible data center.
Yes.
What would you say to that statement when people sort of talk about Konza maybe with a little bit of skepticism?
Yes, so we want to assure Kenyans and the global community that now Konza is no longer a white elephant. And Konza is a thriving destination, a smart city. As you've indicated, there's a lot that we've done here at Konza Technopolis. So today, we've completed more than 40 kilometers of tarmac road. These are an integrated infrastructure with underground utilities. And this is a demonstration that some of our facilities, we will not dig them out as you'll find in traditional cities. We've done a Tier 3 National Data Center that was completed 2 years ago, offering cloud services to not only government but business enterprises. Our building here is complete, complex. There is a 8-story building. So all our staff, 100 plus, work from Konza. But did you know that we are also offering rental services to some of the initial businesses, like Huawei have taken space here. We have so many investors who've taken space here and are leasing space and are operating from Konza. On the first floor, we are hosting the Open University, the first Open University of Kenya. And through that Open University, relying on Konza platform, is offering an opportunity for 1,300 students to take online classes from January of this year, and they've sat for their exams online. That platform is hosted here, and it was developed, jointly co-created with that university. So Konza is already impacting lives. You'll find that as you just adjacent to our building, we are doing a conference facility. So in the next 1 or 2 years, conferences will be happening from Konza, like what you see in KICC. That track is already complete. We've done KAIST through collaboration with government of Korea. We are building.
Tell us more about KAIST.
Yes. So KAIST was a concept and a very good idea, because before, it is the Kenyan Advanced Institute of Science Technology that is modeled similar to the Korean KAIST, Korean Advanced Institute. You'll find that currently most innovative universities around the globe, if you look at the top 10, KAIST, Korea, is the only non-American among that list of top 10 innovative universities. So we identified KAIST to work with us, to model a similar one in Konza, to help us build that critical mass. And why KAIST? This is a graduate-only institute that will focus on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics disciplines. And how will it help build an ecosystem where we have talent? Because as a country, for you to grow to a middle income status that Konza is driving, then we must ensure that we have the right talent. And we need talent on technical disciplines, like engineering, like technology, like health, and all those. So that is what KAIST will do for us. And how will it work with the local universities? We will identify very bright students as they graduate and exit our universities. They'll go through a 2-year rigorous program, and those will be research related, that we expect, even with the sponsorship and funding that they'll get, they'll now use those to grow their business. And those will be solutions and startups that will be now impacting. Like you'll find one on chemical engineering that will help us within the chemical space, within industry. So we want to use KAIST to help the country produce annually talent that industries, manufacturing companies and plants need, businesses need as they grow. So that is how it's an institute that will connect the industry to the skill and the talent that they need for the future generation.
It reminds me actually of what happened in Silicon Valley and I
Correct.
think also in Israel,
Yes.
where you need to have these sort of technology-focused initiatives like Konza, and then you have to have this engineering talent within the proximity of that.
Correct.
And that is what then creates the magic for the startups, correct?
Correct. That is it. So that actually, if you are joining KAIST for the graduate program, you will know that your research is meant after you exit to be a business. That is it. Or you'll be directly developing a research or a patent or a product that is consumer required by an industry.
So you're incubating
them through KAIST. It's like an incubator.
Fantastic.
But also, in addition to KAIST, did you also know that with, again, collaboration that we've had with Korea, we'll be doing a digital media city that now will focus on creative economy. We've seen so many countries, Singapore, Korea, the creative sector contributes 7% of the GDP.
Wow.
Yes, in those countries. And through the Kenyan digital media city that will be here in Konza, I think approximately 60 plus acres have been allocated for it. Wow. A city within a city. This destination will focus on animation, on gaming, entertainment, filming, and will tap that space that is currently active to help them film and develop better products. You'll be surprised that some of our entertainment actors, even those who come take film in our national parks, do you know they go film and edit their content in South Africa, in Nigeria? We don't have a world-class facility. So in Konza's digital media city, that will now be a story because they'll be able now to film, document, and edit this content.
They have the facilities and the equipment and stages and all to do so.
Correct. And you know there's a success case even in Korea today where a tech valley called Pangyo. This valley currently incubates around 300 SMEs and startups.
What?
These guys are doing creative activities in genetics, content creation, animation. Did you know in 2020, at the peak of COVID, their market value, the amount of product they sold globally was equivalent to the GDP of Kenya? And yet it is on 600 acres. So you can see the potential of these spaces because you can touch, you can sell, creative, because it is in the mind and content. So these things can be sold and help do what? Help create jobs for many of our people. But we're also targeting solutions for the government with digital media city and that creative sector. And I'll give two examples what we are looking at. If you look at the Ministry of Health, for example, there are cases, like you'll find in Kisumu, there are so many cases of malaria. If you go to Isiolo and so forth, cancer and the rest. So we want to see how through the creative sector and Konza Digital Media City, we will even develop games that prepares people to better manage or prevent those type of diseases. Like if it is a game, like you play, that enables you align your diet to a specific sort of healthy eating that then help you as a person.
Becomes a lifestyle
becomes a lifestyle. So we want now then to connect what we are doing here with the challenges that we face as a country, and we'll be impacting different sectors from education, from tourism, health, and the rest.
So there's something else I want to ask you about. I think this is because it's such a big topic these days.
Yes.
You know, AI, you know, regulation, initiatives, maybe even in your data center, you are AI ready, I don't know.
Yes.
How are we looking at Konza City and Kenya by extension playing in the AI space going forward?
Very good. Thank you, Moses. I actually forgotten to talk about it, but we already using AI here in Konza Technopolis. Like our data center, cooling power, we have AI power, AI cooling. So all those are controlled by AI models. So these and shares with us statistics. We build those models with support of the partners we work with. But even our transport model is artificial intelligence. So basically in Konza, as you move, our traffic lights and the timing will auto adjust depending on the volume of cars in different directions. So those are already, we are building those models, and there's a data that we've collected from NTSA. So those are already working.
Okay.
But in the next 2 years, Konza will host an AI center. We are already developing a concept. And why we decided to build an AI center is to offer an opportunity for the young people to begin to build AI models for different problems that the country faces. Like medicine, we know AI can help, education, AI can help, health, AI can help. So what we want is Konza to offer a platform that different innovators can build, test, deploy their AI models. We've decided that now we don't want to follow the fourth industrial revolution, Moses. We follow the first one, the second one, the third one. We have to be part
of that transition. Yeah.
Yes, so we have to contribute. And we don't want a country that probably will rely on AI models like ChatGPT that are developed elsewhere to use. So we want to customize our own solutions for Africa, for Kenya, and also now export those. So we've decided, and we put together that concept, and we're already in discussion with different stakeholders, including National Treasury, to see how we can establish an AI center here in Konza, purposely for building AI solutions, because we can't run away from it. Research recently by United Nations on Conference and Trade, they produced their annual research on technology and innovation. In that report, they indicated that in 2020, the market value of emerging tech, largely AI, IoT, big data, cloud computing, was around 1.5 trillion USD. They're saying in the next 6 years, by 2030, that market value will have grown to 9.5 trillion. So it means the impact of this emerging tech, as you mentioned, AI, we cannot run away from them. We have to see how this is part and parcel of what we do. But even in terms of regulation, because it is very important, because some people are skeptical about these technologies, we've seen our ministry at the forefront in ensuring that now we have more supportive and a very conducive policy environment to support adoption of these technologies. And there's a task force that our minister last year constituted just to review all this policy framework and probably make recommendations on where we can adjust to ensure that that space and Kenya can continue to lead and be part of the fourth industrial revolution.
Great.
Yes.
So there's something very significant happening.
Correct.
Konza is going to be hosting the very first of its kind IASP conference,
Correct.
the 41st edition.
Yes.
Can you tell us what was involved in securing this prestigious event for the country? I understand we're expecting probably at least 2,000 maybe participants.
Yes.
Tell us what that's about, what is IASP about, but also more importantly, what it means for Kenya and Nairobi to host this event.
Correct. So IASP is International Association of Science Parks and of course areas of innovation. It's a global network of science parks, and Konza is a science park. In addition to being a smart city, Konza is also a science park. So then it means these are parks that nurture innovations, creativity, and research, and probably come up with the solutions that address problems for humanity, for businesses, and many others. So we joined this network as a country to see how we position ourselves globally. In that, because first is to position yourself globally.
You're part of that ecosystem.
You're part of that ecosystem, and of course we are very lucky that we are the first one to host this, and not that we've been members for a long time. I think we joined 4-5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
That
Only,
network.
Yeah? Okay.
Yes. And why? Again, we were interested because we believe Kenya is special, and Kenya has something interesting as a hub of technology, the hub of business for this region. So it was important for us to pitch on behalf of the country and just see how these global delegates, when they come, they'll see the uniqueness and the value proposition for our country. We know one of the reasons was we have a youthful population, 68%, that you won't find in the rest of the market. So with this is an opportunity for us to see how this global network can connect what these youths can do to address the global challenges. But again, we wanted to use this to build a network of universities, of actors within ISP. Like we are connecting different universities so that our universities also can compare notes with what is happening out there. Our innovators, our innovation community can compare notes with what is happening out there so that they can build synergies and help contribute now globally, other than local solutions. So this was a network to ensure that we're able to do that. And it will be an interesting conference because if you look at the theme, touching on demographics and how
entrepreneurship and technology,
then this speaks so well at the center of what global challenges currently are, that globally we have an aging population. And then how do we take then advantage of the youthful one that exists to see how we are able now to have a sustainable world. And of course now even solutions that are able now to help us, because we are specific to problems. If there are unemployment, if there are food, as you look at global statistics. So that is what the discussions around how ISP and areas of innovation can build solutions for different countries, for different regions, to do it, to help alleviate some of those problems globally.
So I know that we're hosting the event, I think it's from the 24th to the 27th of September.
Yes.
That's approximately 2 weeks away.
Yes.
And who can attend? Who can be a part of this? Because I'm really hoping the youth, startups, of course government will be represented, but who can be a part of this event?
Yes. So the event is anyone can attend the event, because these are, and it is not a technical event per se, because anyone, any discipline can attend the event. And we have an online link through our website you can access and register. Institutions can attend, universities can attend, government can attend, private sector can attend, technology companies and many other disciplines can attend. The event is open to anyone to attend.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So as we start to look forward, thinking about Konza as a collective, thinking about 5 years going down the road, specifically in your role and the plans that you've set, what can we as Kenyans and other stakeholders globally expect from Konza in the next 2 to 5 years going forward?
I think from Konza, we expect a vibrant destination, first supporting businesses. We expect a city that will enable one-stop shop services and expand growth. We are looking at growing the GDP by 2%. Creating from here, creating 17,000 jobs in IT and IT-enabled services from Konza, just phase 1. So a lot is expected from Konza Technopolis. We expect to have the first group of students in KAIST, the Kenyan Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, in the next 1 year or so, who will be learning these technical disciplines on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And we want to connect those two to industries. We expect also to contribute in a big way to BPO and gig economy. There are programs we're already running under our Jitume that is anchored on setting up digital labs in various TVETs. We've done more than 200.
Already?
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
And through these hubs, we've worked with the private sector players on a skilling program that these youth are trained. So alongside their main course in TVETs, they're able now to learn a new skill. This skill is demand driven. So you spare 2 hours as a TVET student, connects you to a digital job, because there's also a huge opportunity within the gig economy and BPO. So Konza is at the center. Today, more than 200,000 people are earning from digital jobs. Our target in the next 3 years, as you mentioned, because you're looking at 2 to 3 years, is to create 1.5 million in digital jobs for the country. So Konza, I think there's a lot that we are doing, but we've created also an ecosystem. So also expect a lot of industry support.
And partnerships.
Partnerships, and which we continue to grow as part of the measures and KPIs for Konza. Expect a smart city that is probably contributing to quality of lives and helping citizens have data, because we'll promote open data and open data governance framework, so that you're able now to access, innovate through the data that we collect here at Konza for your purposes of business growth, and technology being in the service of what you do to help you better, perform better, and of course now take advantage of data for insights, big data, experience AI, as I've mentioned, for your purposes of business growth. So a lot, I think, is expected of Konza, from employment, GDP, and many others.
Now, I know from looking at your profile that
Yes.
you are a big advocate about continuous learning.
Yes.
And obviously, to be where you are today, you're somebody who is big on that.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your perspectives on that and how it relates to much of what we've discussed and how it maybe can impact the Kenyan youth and those who want to sort of elevate and open up opportunities through technology for their careers and their lives?
Correct. I think to lead, to provide strategic leadership in my space,
Yes.
you must learn, you must read. You see, research shows, Moses, that typical busy human beings, you'll find that you use maybe less than 15% of your brain. It's a lot. So how can we, I'm always motivated to acquire, because
Yeah.
it is in technology, it is reskilling, upskilling, learning new things, learning new concepts, so that we keep pace. And you're able now to help the business with strategic decisions that help us grow. So that is why I'm motivated. But also it is a challenge to our youth that for us now to keep pace with what is happening in the technology space, what is happening with the digital economy. You're talking about gig economy. Things have changed, and we are saying the future is now. Today, how people transact, how people want services has changed. So even for you as a business, as a young person, if you're looking at prospering in your space, then you must learn new concept. If it is e-commerce, people are not going to trade from markets as they used to. Now it is online.
Yes.
So everything has to be done differently. And I think continuous learning then enables you as a person keep pace with what is happening within your space. It can be in humanity, it can be on social sciences, it can be technology, but there's no way you can run away. I'm a stout advocate of continuous learning for purposes of growth and your personal development.
And then what advice would you give young innovators and startup entrepreneurs here in Kenya in terms of how they could benefit from Konza, or also any general points or tips you can give them so that they can be successful in those endeavors?
Thank you, Moses. One of the most important advice I would want to give to young startups is to embrace partnership. Most of them fear partnerships because probably they feel that their ideas will be stolen and so forth. But we've seen destinations that we visited like Korea, China, India, what they are doing, they are building an ecosystem that shares nodes and comes up with innovations that probably are critical and impact a huge community. You'll find in our spaces we've seen different identical solutions. Someone incubating and have spent 3 years, yet it exists in another hub. We've seen those cases. So for us, we are opening up this space to ensure that we innovators and startups are able now to talk to each other and build commonalities and create synergy that help us grow better and build bigger. But then also, issues with patenting and research, we help them register their patents and business for purposes of security because it is very important. One of the key advice I will also give is that because if you don't do that, then you can cry later that your idea is stolen and so forth. So that is very important. But also, the other third piece of advice is you must build soft skills, because with the innovation that you'll have, you might be technical, but remember, the value is bought. And the money you want today for your business is in someone else's pocket. So you must know how to communicate. You must know how to pitch. You must know how to market.
That
you
whole
must know
holistic.
It is a holistic approach, because you can build, but then how do you commercialize
Market
it?
or sell it.
So it has to be, you must blend yourself other than your technical expertise, but also learn certain soft skills that enables you now connect to the humanity, because value is to the other side, and that is, people buy value. So if I see a very good innovation and I'm interested in it, then I pay you for it. So that is how you grow.
I think another thing I've also seen a lot, even in our ecosystem here, is that, quite often you'll find that it's a startup business with 3 techies.
Correct.
But it's important, I think, to build cross-functional teams.
You have a marketing person,
exactly,
a business development
a product
person, a product person.
Exactly.
Correctly.
So I think there's a lot of opportunity also to just sort of build a more multidisciplinary team, so that those different aspects of business are fully factored in. I love the fact that you mentioned the challenge of the Me Too ideas, where 3 guys are all trying to build the same thing.
The same thing, correct. Correct. So, and we help because also we work with universities to provide, and we get professors who provide mentorship services, support services to innovators, because most of them probably fall at the point where they cannot now connect to the external world. They have very good things, but they cannot. So those support services that we structure with our partner ensure that we guide you and help you throughout that journey or
And
that
also
innovation
achieve
pipeline.
the product market fit as
Correct,
well with your
correct,
proposition.
correct.
Yeah. And maybe as we come to the end of our conversation, I think I'd like to just hear from you any parting shot, any last remarks you might have, both with regards to Konza and the future, and also with regards to the ISP conference,
Okay.
so that, if there's any more information that maybe our audience could benefit from the same.
Good. So as we conclude, Moses, and thank you for this opportunity, is that Konza, we are ready, and we are ready for business, and we are ready to work with different stakeholders to see how we help our country grow to a middle income status. We are keen to build an ecosystem. So to anyone, feel free. Konza is your home. We are striking agreements for businesses. Visit Konza. But the most important thing that we'll want, join us for a very interesting conversation during ISP Nairobi from 24th to 27th.
Well, Lucas, asante sana. We appreciate the time and your insights.
Thank you.
We are so excited to see what's coming.
Correct.
We're looking forward to the conference. I'm going to be attending as well.
Good, welcome.
And more importantly, I think the future is looking very, very bright.
Bright, correct.
And I think for anyone who has any doubts about Konza, things are running, things are happening. And if anything, those who get in early stand to gain the most from this opportunity.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you, Moses.
So thank you, Lucas.
Thank you.
So there you have it. We're here at Konza. We've seen it. It's real. It's happening. We have an incredible conference coming here to Nairobi and Africa for the very first time, the 41st edition of the ISP conference. But more importantly, there's a bright future here, very much in line with Kenya's 2030 agenda. And more importantly, for all of us who have an investment or a stake in what Kenya is trying to do in the digital transformation space, Konza is here to serve. Thank you, and we'll catch you in the next one.